If you have ever wanted to grow your personal brand, or perhaps you want to grow your business, or maybe you're at a point in your career as a leader where you would like to be more visible in the social media world, this video is for you. If you are in any of the categories I mentioned, as a leader, you will absolutely want to know how you can still showcase your executive presence while you are live streaming on any platform of your choice. Now, in this video specifically, I'm not just going to talk about live streaming and executive presence, even though that is very, very important. Even when you're live streaming, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to do when things go wrong on your live stream. Specifically meaning if you are receiving comments that might be offensive to you or your audience, what should you do? What should you do when those situations happen? So if this sounds really interesting to you, and maybe you are at that point where you're trying to do more with yourself personally, maybe you're building your business, you're building your brand, then this is a video you want to watch until the end, because I'm going to share with you some strategies in terms of an executive coach, because I am an executive coach, and to help you start thinking about your live streams in terms of how you want them to be. And then also talk about what you can do when things go wrong and how you can manage it. Now, I'm sharing this from an experience of someone that has been on YouTube, that has done a lot of live streaming. I've done so many live streams that YouTube has paid attention to my live streams. And earlier this year, they invited me to be a member of the YouTube Live Streamer Research Panel. And I'm helping to shape the platform. And specifically, what I'm doing here is giving YouTube insights on how they can improve the live streaming experience for the users. So I've done so many live streams at this point that I've had very wonderful live streams, and I've had live streams where people have been completely inappropriate. So you're going to learn a lot of knowledge here today that's going to help you regardless of where you are. If you're trying to get your message out there to the world, live streaming is a great opportunity. You just need to go through a few things first. So if you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, and I appreciate you being here and spending a few moments out of your day with me today. This is a live video, and I am sharing with you that there's a point in time where people join live, and I appreciate them actually being present. So I'm going to say hello to everyone as they join, and then just hang in there with me tonight. You know, the lives, they go in different directions sometimes, friends. They can go, we'll talk about one topic and we'll go into something else. But give me a few moments to say hello to everyone that is live today. And if you really are ready to learn more about live streaming and how you can showcase your executive presence as a leader, you need to be here. Stay to the end of the video, because you're going to learn some things that people are not talking about on YouTube. As I mentioned, I'm a member of YouTube's Live Streamer Research Panel. And so I have definitely a more in-depth knowledge of live streaming than your average person. So I want to say hello, Joel Yaneth Fuente. If I said your name incorrectly, friend, I'm sorry about that. Hello and welcome. Auntie J, welcome. Hope y'all doing well today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today, so I can say hello to you. Marjorie Sandoval, hello, welcome. And let's see, we have Sienna, SS Sienna, hello, welcome. We have Drake Xander Quilacio, what's happening in here? Well, Drake, we are talking about live streaming and executive presence. If you have ever wanted to showcase your brand, maybe you have a personal brand, maybe you're wanting to start a YouTube channel or other channels, or perhaps you are trying to elevate your business, or maybe you're trying to just get your message out there. I'm going to talk about how you can really use your executive presence in a live stream and what you need to do when things go wrong. Meaning you have comments from people that are really inappropriate. You may be having to manage yourself under pressure in your emotions, because this is out to the entire worldwide, right? So this is what we're talking about in the video today. But I want to make sure I say hello to everyone first before we go into some serious topics tonight. If you're serious about live streaming, and you want to grow a YouTube channel, you want to be more visible, you really need to watch this live. I'm going to talk with you candidly about my experiences here live streaming, when I've shown my executive presence as a leader that can help you as a leader also. And depending on where the conversation goes, friends, we may talk more about this, or we may talk a bit more about what you specifically need to do when you get those bad comments, when things go wrong. So stay tuned to the end. If this is your first time meeting me, hello and welcome. Glad you're here today. I want to say hello to Hancock. Hello, welcome, friend. How you doing today? And let me know where y'all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And let me know, are you live streaming? Are you live streaming right now? And if so, what platforms are you using? How has your experience been? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What questions do you have? You have the opportunity to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. And I'm going to come at this from the role of an executive coach to help you really start to think about how you want your channels to be, or how you want your live streaming experience to be. And then we're going to talk about what's going wrong, what happens when things go wrong. I've had things go wrong. I've had some really inappropriate comments come up on my channel. And so I want to share with you how you can manage that while you are live streaming and still keep your emotions and your executive presence visible to your audience. So if this sounds good to you, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions specifically, but we're going to go into it. Any questions you all have, I'm here to help you. So we have blah, blah. Hello, welcome, friend. How you doing today? So let me start off by saying a couple things. If you're trying to live stream, and as I mentioned, you're growing your business, you're growing your channel, you are trying to get your message out there, perhaps maybe you've been a C-suite executive and you're at the point where you're trying to consult and go to that next level, then this is really a great video for you. The first strategy I want to share with you, and this is more from me being an executive coach, and then I'm going to talk more about what you need to do when live streaming goes wrong, meaning you get those really inappropriate comments that are not nice. So the first strategy or question I want you to answer when you're thinking about doing more with live streaming and etc. is to consider what is really important to you. What's important to you as a person when you are live streaming to the entire world? Now, before I go into this, I want to take a look at the actual chat and see what's going on. We have Diamond Golden. Hello, welcome, Diamond Golden. Hope you're doing well today. Diamond Golden said, did inappropriate comments before. I'm assuming you're asking me, have I dealt with them before? I believe that's what you're saying. Let me know if I have that incorrect. But if that is what you are saying, Diamond Golden, yes, I've had some very, very, very inappropriate comments that have actually happened the past 2 days on my channel. I've had them previously because I've been live streaming for a while, but the past couple of days, it's been really inappropriate. And that is what I'm going to talk about here in just a few moments in terms of how do you manage those comments when they come up. So let me see. Diamond Golden said, that's what I said. Okay, great. So sure, just stay here and spend some time with me today. I'll talk to you a bit more about how to manage those inappropriate comments. And I'll do even better for you, Diamond Golden. I appreciate you being here and being present for the live today. If you look at my lives, and I'll do shorts on these because I do believe that the people kind of struggle when it comes to those very difficult conversations and challenging situations. That's my expertise. And I do want to show that out to my audience. If you look at my live streams, and today is, what is today? October the 3rd. So if you look at my live streams from yesterday, I had 2 live streams from yesterday, and I had 1 live stream from this morning. You will actually see, you can't see it on the chat because I took care of those comments, but you'll actually see how I manage very, very, very difficult situations and very inappropriate comments that came up. And I believe that'll be a great way to help you. Okay, so Diamond Golden said, I subscribe. Well, thank you, friend. Glad you're here. Welcome to the group of exceptional leaders. We are the people that stand out from everybody else. And let's see. That's okay. Diamond Golden sent me a message about age and your mom's fault. That's okay. That's all right. Hope you learn as much as you can to help you as you are getting older in your role. Okay, so as I mentioned, when you're live streaming, you really want to try to do a bit of inner work first. And specifically, as I mentioned earlier, what you will need to do is to think about what is really important to you. What I mean specifically is what values are important to you, what are comments, what do you want to present as yourself in your channel during your live stream. So let me give you an example. For me personally, as many of you know, or if you're new to me, you're just learning, is that I am a very, very, very friendly person. And I won't, for me personally, my values to show. I'm very friendly, but I'm very professional. Sorry. It's been a long week, friends, but I'm very, very professional. And this is something that I really value. I want to have a very professional interaction with the people that are joining my audience, and that's me. There may be individuals that want to have more of a funny laugh time with the audience. We do laugh here and have fun too, but I'm trying to build the next leaders in the world that are going to do amazing things. And the only way I can do that is to help them communicate at a higher level than their peers and get to that next level in their career in terms of where they are going. So knowing what is important to you is really critically important, especially as an executive coach, which is what I am, to think about what's important to you. How do you want your audience to perceive you? For me, I want to be perceived as a very professional, polished public speaker that can help you manage very challenging situations. That's me specifically. So think about what it is you want to do as it relates to your channel, your live stream experience. How do you want to be perceived as? Now, before I go into the second strategy I want to share with you, before I go into, I have 3 strategies, and then I'm gonna go into what to do when those comments come up. Let me go into the chat. So we have Diamond Golden says, everyone be good, don't say inappropriate stuff. Exactly. I appreciate that, Diamond Golden. Friend, I'm glad that you were not on some of these lives I had the past couple days live, because it would have been completely inappropriate for you. So I'm glad you weren't there, but I'm glad you're here now so you can learn more about it, because live, sometimes you just don't know what's going to be said. All right. And Diamond Golden says, the only way, smiley face. And we have Belt BCC's MC app. I'm not sure about what that app is. You feel free to let me know what it is. I just made that app up. Oh, okay. All right, well, great. We appreciate you sharing that. So we talked about, you have to know what's important to you. How do you want to be perceived as? Very professional, very relaxed. Maybe you have a gaming channel. Maybe you have something else that you're doing. It just depends. But how do you want to be perceived as is really important. The second question that I would encourage you to really think about as it relates to your experience is, what is the end result, the end experience that you want to have for your audience that is live streaming with you? So for me, I want to have an experience for my audience to know that they can ask me questions about anything that is related to professional development or something along those lines. I want my audience to be comfortable talking to me about what's going on for them, specifically as it relates in their careers, or maybe some situations that have happened to impact their careers. So for example, on my channel, even though I focus heavily on communication and really mastering those advanced level communication skills, we have talked about Bitcoin. We have talked about how to become a millionaire. We have talked about how you make different streams of income. We have talked about what happens when you drop off your kids. We have talked about kids doing different things in terms of different types of games that they play, and Roblox and some other things. We've had a lot of great conversations. So we talk about a lot of different things. And that's the type of audience that I want to have. The experience I want them to have is, I want them to come to my lives and know that this is something that is really, really important to me. And I want to make sure that they feel like they are in a place where they can talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. So really appreciate everybody for being here and being present. And yes, I am doing something right now because there's a comment that was not really appropriate. So there we go. We're going into those comments in just a few moments, friends. All right, so let me say hello to Astrid Astrino Gamer, hello, welcome friend, hope you're doing well. Diamond Golden says, I know Bitcoin, very good. That's fantastic for your age, for you to know Bitcoin. And Brandon says, hello Brandon, welcome friend. Let's see, Diamond Golden says, something about a door. That's okay, don't worry about it, just glad you're present. So we talked about you need to know what's important to you. The second question, what you're thinking about, is what type of experience do you want to have for your audience. I want my audience to be comfortable asking me questions. The challenging questions that come up for us professionally as leaders. My main target audience that I work with are women in leadership in terms of my one-on-one executive coaching practice that I have. But my audience consists of not only women in leadership, but men in leadership also, especially here on YouTube. So I appreciate everybody being here. And this is the reason why I'm here, to help women and leaders, women and men, be able to become those amazing leaders that stand out from everybody else in the crowd. Even if you're not in my direct audience in terms of who I work with one-on-one, you're welcome here. And that's the kind of audience I want to have for my subscribers, and that's the experience I want them to have, that they feel like they can talk to me or ask questions regardless of if they're male, female, as long as it's within the professional realm of what we're talking about. Now, my third final question I want to share with you all to think about is, how can you manage your emotions under pressure when people say things that are inappropriate? This is something that I'm going to lead into in terms of the specifics of what to do when these comments come up. When you're live streaming, you have to be able to manage your emotions under pressure, because a lot of times people will say things when you're live streaming, excuse me, that can throw you off guard. And if you have not been, I would say, tested many times, you will have a very difficult time showcasing your executive presence when you're going live streaming. Why? Because those things will sit there and catch you off guard and just make you say, oh my goodness, like, what is going on? And you may just stumble. You may look like you don't have it together. And if you're watching this video or subscribe to my channel, you know by now that we're not doing here. I'm going to make sure that you're in a place where, even if you're having those very challenging situations happen, that you are in a very good position to be able to manage those situations like an executive, meaning you're handling it, you're taking care of it very quickly, and still creating a very great experience for your audience. So this is very important. Now, as I mentioned, handling your emotions under pressure are really important. There's several live videos here on my channel that specifically talk about how to handle yourself under pressure, how to think on your feet, how to manage your emotions under pressure. So spend some time on my live videos here to learn a lot more about those skills that will help you when these situations come up, specifically when you are live streaming and you're trying to showcase your executive presence. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on that right now. Just know that, think about how you are able to manage stress. What do you do when people try to stress you out and you're trying to figure out, well, how exactly do I want to manage the situation? What do you do? Do you speak really softly? Do you speak very fast? Become aware of yourself and think about what can you do to change how you manage those very stressful situations, because when they come up, especially when you're live streaming, it can throw you off guard. And this is just me being very candid with you all. It can really throw you off guard. So if you're trying to manage yourself under pressure, you definitely want to try to reach out to me for a strategy session. Take a look at the comments below, actually the description below, and sign up for a strategy session. We'll talk about it. So this is really important. Now I'm going to go into the strategies in terms of what specifically do you do when someone makes an inappropriate comment, where you can still lead your live stream with your audience, but still handle it like an executive and showcase your executive presence. Before I go into the technical things, let me take a look at what's going on in the chat. So Diamond Golden has a couple of things that were mentioned about cappuccino and some other things. And I subscribed. Okay, thank you for subscribing again. And Diamond Golden says, I never knew that. Yes, this is something that's really important. And this is definitely a really important topic as it relates to live streaming, because people talk about live streaming, but how do you manage it when things are going wrong? So let's go into that, right? So let's go into What do you do when you're live streaming, you're trying to show your executive presence and things go wrong? Things going wrong specifically, I'm referring to inappropriate comments that are being said, because that's what happens sometimes in the live streaming world. So let me give you my overall strategy in terms of what specifically I do. And I just did this. If you did not catch it, I did it really fast because I know how to manage these things now. But what I do specifically when inappropriate comments come up. So for me, I mentioned to you, I know what's important to me. I want to have a channel that is very professional, very elevated in terms of how we communicate and interact with each other. Therefore, if I see comments that talk about something that is not nice or very, very, like I had a comment yesterday that was anti-Semitic. I don't have that. I had a comment that was very explicit, asking a question. I don't deal with that. Or a comment that is making just a reference to something that's just completely inappropriate. Now, if it's something that is, a bit silly or we're having a laugh, that's fine as long as it's still professional. That's my boundaries for me and my channel here on YouTube, because ultimately it's still my channel. I'm still moderating the channel. So what do? Let's say somebody says something that's inappropriate. Okay, they said something inappropriate and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this person just said something like this on my live stream. What do? Well, first thing, don't panic. Okay, do not let your audience think that you're panicking, because if you see that inappropriate comment, remember, the whole world is looking at you, literally. They may not be looking at you right this second, but if someone's watching your replay of your live, then guess what, friends, leaders, they are going to look at you. So how you manage and maneuver that, you pretty much have to have a very stoic type of look to yourself when these situations come up. You can't let your audience know that, oh my gosh, I cannot believe somebody said that, and panic. You don't want to do that. So what do? So here on YouTube, and I've been on other live streaming platforms. I've live streamed on Instagram, I've live streamed on LinkedIn, and I've live streamed on YouTube. And I will tell you that even though I'm a member of YouTube's live streamer research panel for the next year, I will tell you that YouTube is the platform where I get the most inappropriate comments that come up. And the reason being is that YouTube, you're really open to the entire world, and you're going to have people that are from all walks of life, some that are professional, some that are not professional. They just want to check out your channel, or they just want to be trolls. One of those situations that happen. On LinkedIn and Instagram, I don't have those type of very inappropriate comments that come up that much. And this is from me live streaming for, I believe it's been years now. I've been doing live streaming. And I will tell you that if you're doing a YouTube channel, you have to really be mentally ready. You have to be ready for those times when they come up, when someone says something inappropriate, because if you're out there visible to the world, you're a public figure, and people are going to just respond in different ways. And you just have to be ready for it. This is the same thing that happens with leaders. I've interacted with many congressional leaders on the national level and on the state level here. And you have to just be prepared for these type of situations when they come up. As I mentioned, let's go into what specifically you can do. Now, I'll talk to you here about YouTube, because YouTube is probably going to be the platform where you might get those type of people that make comments. LinkedIn is going to be more of your friendlier crowd, highly professional individuals who are just trying to learn. You're not going to have people say really inappropriate things there, because that's just not the place for LinkedIn. People don't do that. Even Instagram, most of the time Instagram, you're not going to have that. YouTube is where you will see it. So what do? The first thing I do specifically when I have those comments come up is that I take a look at the chat. So I'm looking at you all now, and I see things on the chat and they'll pop up. It'll catch my eye because I'm seeing something that's popping up on the actual video. So I'll look at it and I'll try to look down quickly. You might see my eyes look down quickly, and I'll look up because I see something came in the chat. And if it looks like it's just someone making a comment, I will continue talking and go back and answer their question or address what they said. If it's something inappropriate, you may see me look down. You may see me say something specifically. Sometimes I may say nothing, and sometimes I may say, give me just one moment. And I talked about this in my live streaming video yesterday when we talked about thinking on your feet under pressure. I actually had an inappropriate comment that was made, and it was so interesting. So interesting, leaders. I just discussed in my live about the steps you take, step by step by step, when you are thinking under pressure. And I literally did it in real time when this inappropriate, explicit comment was made. And I was able to show that. So you definitely want to check out my lives. This is probably going to be the place where you're going to see people say things inappropriate. You'll see how I handle it and showcase my executive presence. So when you see it, you'll see me look down, and I'll look and see what's going on. Like I see what's going on. Okay, that's okay. I can deal with that later. Or no, this is totally inappropriate. I need to get this off my chat right now. And that's literally what is the process that I have in my mind when I think about live streaming. I'm looking at the chat. So I will literally, there's a function here on YouTube. And if you want me to go into a video about this a bit later, where I share with you the steps that you do and maybe have it as a screen share, let me know. I'd be happy to do that for you all as my audience. But there's a place where if you click on the name of the individual that's making the comment, you have two options that I would recommend for you to think about doing. Okay. The first option that you want to think about doing is reporting the comment. Depending on what it is. If someone has made a really inappropriate comment or asking you an explicit question, remember your chat is seeing that. And you don't want that audience to have that perception of your channel that you have just this random inappropriate person saying something. This is the reason why, as I mentioned earlier, you have to really think about what's important to you. Like what's important to you? What kind of experience do you want your audience to have? I want a very highly elevated professional experience for my audience. Therefore, if I see something that's inappropriate, I'm on it fast, because that's not the experience that I want for my live audience that's present. So on YouTube specifically, if you click on the person's name, it will give you the option to report. So if you have a comment that's that inappropriate, you need to report it. There's different type of reporting criteria they have on YouTube. They have some criteria that says, and I'm just going to list the ones I remember: misinformation, child abuse, something that is potentially explicit, and other things that may be harassment or bullying. They have a bunch of criteria that you can put this comment in. So you need to look at these at any point in time, so that when those situations happen, you're dealing with it in real time, like very, 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 very quickly. Speed is really important when you're dealing and you're managing situations when they go wrong on live streaming. So you look at their name, click on it, and then the icon will come up, or a tab will come up that says report. And so you report that comment to YouTube, so YouTube knows that this person is way inappropriate. They're saying something that's not correct, that is very explicit, and it is not warranted and not needed in the YouTube world. You place that there. So that's the first thing I do, is hide the comment, get rid of the comment, and report it to YouTube. YouTube will automatically deduct and take that comment away. The next thing that I personally do is I will hide the user from my channel. I hide the user from my channel because if I have someone that is making inappropriate comments that might be anti-Semitic, that may be explicit, that may be saying something that is completely very, very, very inappropriate, then I don't want them on my content. I don't want them coming back ever to my channel to cause a disruption during my live stream. So I will hide that user from the channel. Now, I will tell you, if you caught this earlier, I just did this to somebody here today. Now, you may be watching the replay, and of course, if you're watching the replay, you do not have access to the chat. But those of you who are still watching and have watched the chat, you may have saw the comment come up. You may not have seen the comment come up, but I did. And I saw the comment. It was not appropriate. And what I did was very quickly, I said, give me just one moment. And I went in and did what I had to do to, one, report the comment, because it's not appropriate to ask a question to me like that. And then number two, I went and hid the user from my channel so that they do not have the access to watch my channel again from that specific profile, that they are joining the live stream from. This is literally my step by step that I do here on YouTube when I have those inappropriate comments. Now, I do want to say that when these situations come up, you do have to have a certain level of composure, and this is where your executive presence really comes into play when you're managing these situations. You do not want to show that these situations bother you or that it's frustrating you. You have to really play very, very calm, just like you would if you was in a contentious meeting or a very challenging conversation. That face you have needs to be the same. You have to let your audience know that, okay, I saw it, it's gone, and you can talk about it later. But being very consistent in terms of how you managing yourself and handling your emotions under pressure is very, 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 very important. Now, before I go into that, let me check. I see something came in the chat. Truth is speaking. Well, hello, welcome back, friend. How are you doing today? I appreciate you being here, Truth is speaking. We just uncovered a very, very important live. Definitely if you're trying to learn more about live streaming. If you have questions about live streaming, Truth is speaking, because you have some really great questions from what I remember in many of the lives, let me know in the comments below. I just wrapped up a couple of really great strategies to help you start thinking about live streaming. Maybe you're trying to grow your business. Maybe you're trying to grow your personal brand. Perhaps you're trying to be more visible. You have a message, a big message that you want to share to the whole world. Live streaming is a great way for you to do it. But there's times when things go wrong on live streaming. And specifically, I was referring to when you get those very negative comments that come up. So Truth is speaking, let me know if you have any questions specifically about that and how you may be able to navigate some of those challenging situations in terms of how you communicate moving forward. Now, as I mentioned, you have to really keep a very, very straight face when these comments come up. You can, and typically what I'll do is I'll take care of the comments, and then I will talk about them in terms of what the context of it. I usually am not at the point where I will mention the comments because some of them are so inappropriate and explicit and bad that I don't want to say them out loud because they're just inappropriate. One, for the live audience, and two, for my replay audience also, because people watch your replays. And this is really important. You have to keep this in mind. You can still talk about those situations and let your audience know, because your audience wants to feel like they're having a conversation with you. And if you have something that happens and somebody's being inappropriate, then just say, look, someone was being inappropriate, just like I did earlier. I let you all know, even though you may not have noticed, that I had to delete an inappropriate comment and I had to make sure I hid the user from the channel and go through that process. Now, let me see what's in the chat. Truth is speaking says, I am camera shy. Well, truth is speaking, that is okay. It depends on what you want to do. If you're interested in live streaming, there are different ways you can live stream if you are, I would say, camera shy, as you mentioned. There are a lot of people on YouTube now, and I'm saying this because I've watched many channels, and as I mentioned, I'm on YouTube's live streamer research channel, so I know these things, is that there's people that are live streaming and they may just have only audio. They may be showing just a video, or they may be showing not themselves on camera, but you can still hear their voice. Now, even if you're camera shy, truth is speaking, and you still want to have a channel, if you are live streaming, you still have to have an executive presence when you're live streaming, because even if you're not showing your face, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. People have very successful channels, those faceless channels that you hear nowadays, and they're doing very well. But you still may interact with people that have those comments that are really inappropriate. And that is something you still have to address, even if you're live streaming with your face not being visible, because you may feel a bit camera shy. You still have to be able to manage those comments, because your live audience are seeing those comments, not your replay audience, because your replay audience will not have access to the chat, but your live stream audience will. So it's okay if you're camera shy. You still can live stream. Still take some time and take a look at the replay of this video in terms of what happens when inappropriate comments come up and how specifically you can manage them. Now, I want to know from you, those of you who are watching, I mentioned earlier, are you live streaming? And if you are, where are you live streaming from? And I want to know, have you had any challenges during your live stream? Have people said things or topics that were inappropriate? I want to know from you. I know I can't be the only one that deals with inappropriate topics that come up. Perhaps what happens on many of the larger channels and what I've seen is that they typically will have moderators on their channels. I do not have a moderator just yet on my channel. As my audience starts to grow in the YouTube world that I'm in right now starts to expand, I will likely end up having a moderator based on what's going on now, especially with some of the inappropriate comments that I've had. But at the moment, I don't have one. But I've noticed many other channels, they do have moderators that are watching the chat while they're giving instruction and helping people to learn or being entertaining and etc. But they have people that are on it. So in the meantime, this is just like if you're an entrepreneur like I am and you have your own business like I do, this is just like owning a business. And when you're starting a business out, you are literally everything in a business that you need to have. You're the business owner, you're the accountant, you're keeping your books, you're the marketer, you're the advertiser, you're the moderator, you're the producer, you're the editor, all those wonderful things that come with the very, very amazing and fun world of entrepreneurship. Same thing here. When you grow and you keep going forward, it really does help you to get to that next level. But sometimes you just have to do everything for a certain amount of time, and then you start to gain some momentum, gain revenue, and then you start hiring people to moderate your YouTube lives, which is what I'm going to be doing very soon, friends, because I've definitely had my share of inappropriate comments this week for some reason. I don't know why. This week has been the week for people to say just ridiculous stuff. Who knows? But it's always teaching moments and learning moments that we can learn together, so I can show you what to do when you have those very challenging situations, online or in person. Okay, Truth is Speaking says, I love your topics. Well, thank you so much, Truth is Speaking. I appreciate you. And Truth is Speaking, I would love to hear from you. What other topics would you like to learn more about as a woman in leadership? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to record a video just for you and give you a shout out on the video and do what I can to help you go to that next level on your journey. So while I'm waiting for additional comments or additional viewers to join before I start to wrap up, I do want to say a couple of things as it relates to the channel. I've talked about this earlier this week, but there's a few things that you're going to start noticing during quarter 4 of this year. So there's a few things business-wise that I'm working on. I'm actually in the process of doing a lot with the channel. There's going to be a lot more shorts that you'll start to notice. There will be more recorded videos. So I've been live consistently on YouTube Tuesday through Friday for the most part for months, almost 10 months now, believe it or not. And I'm at the point where I'm going to continue doing my live streams because I believe that my audience likes the live streams, but I'm also going to start going back to my recorded content also. So meaning that if there's topics I want to go into a lot more detail on, or I want to have just very focused instruction, you'll see a lot more recorded content coming up. It may not be a lot, it may be just a couple within the next couple months, but I'm going to do a couple of recorded videos. So if you have a leader that you are inspired by or want to learn how they motivate other people, and you maybe want to use some of those strategies in your everyday conversations so that you can inspire and motivate people as a woman in leadership or as a leader, then let me know in the comments below and I'll do a pre-recorded video just for you. I have a couple public figures that I'm doing videos on or will be doing videos on by the end of this year, and I just have to spend some time doing that. So pre-recorded, you're going to see some of those. You'll see a bit more shorts. You'll see those on my channel. I'm going to be making a playlist of how to deal with really challenging comments that are made. I've found that I've had enough of them to where I'm at the point where I need to create a playlist, because sometimes people, they tell you how to manage difficult situations and conversations and etc. But sometimes it's a little easier for you to learn it when you actually see it happen in real action. So I'm going to go through a couple of my lives that I know specifically that I can put together to show you this is what you can do when you have those very challenging situations. So you'll see that come up, and you'll see just a bit more movement in terms of my posting and etc. And so you'll likely, hopefully by the end of the year, see a podcast, at least one episode of a podcast that I'm launching before the end of the year. It's going to be a really fun podcast. It is really helping leaders manage those very challenging situations. So I'm going to be interviewing various individuals that have been in very high level leadership positions, and really get insight from them in terms of what was the hardest conversations that they had, and what can you as a leader learn from these conversations that can help you have hard conversations or just go to that next level in your career. So I've learned that a lot of people are managers and they're transitioning managers, or maybe they're C-suites and they're senior level executives, but they still struggle with those hard conversations. Well, this podcast is what I'm going to be developing to just uncover the hard conversations people had, and like, how did you do it? Like, what did you do to make it not as hard? So just stay tuned for that. Okay, so Truth is Speaking says, how to know which comment is genuine and sarcastic. That's actually a really great question, and it's such a good topic that you mentioned that. I'm actually going to talk about that now, because that is directly in alignment with what we're talking about in terms of live streaming, executive presence, and what to do when things go wrong. So let's talk about that, Truth is Speaking. Now, how do you know when a comment is genuine and sarcastic? Such a good question. You want to take a look at what the person is saying and read it very quickly. So if one of the skills that I picked up when I was in dental school was speed reading. I learned how to speed read because there was such a massive amount of information I had to learn, that I had to learn how to speed read very quick. I need to learn how to read pretty quickly. It actually, this skill, believe it or not, served me very well when I was selected as one of 2 dental students in the United States to spend time on Capitol Hill and spend time with the Senate Majority Leader at that time, which was Harry Reid. And I spent a lot of time with a lot of other congressional leaders also during that time. So I would read really big pieces of legislation, and I'd have to speed read them very quickly to know what's going on. That's part of what happens in the policy world of politics. Why is that important right now? Because you have to read the comment pretty quickly, Truth is Speaking. And that's why I say that you have to read it pretty fast, and see what's going on. And to know if it's genuine or if it's sarcastic, you have to see what's the context. If they're saying something that is maybe not nice, not anything you would report to YouTube, you have to see what are they saying. Because what I've noticed is that when people are saying genuine comments, they may just say it once. And you get the sense that it's a warm comment. They're not saying anything that's mean or that might be just negative towards you specifically. In terms of our sarcastic comment, what I've found and what I've seen, especially live streaming, is that when people are making sarcastic comments, they're trying to get attention, they'll put a bunch of stuff in the chat. So they'll make their comment, and if you don't respond to it, they'll put hi, or they'll put words, or they'll put a bunch of things to try to get your attention to what they're saying. And most of the times when people do that, and they'll say they made a comment that you're looking at and you're saying, I don't know about that. You may want to ask for clarification. I do that often. And I ask for clarification. What specifically do you mean? Like, for instance, there was a comment made earlier today by Diamond Golden, and there was a question that I just didn't understand what they were saying. And so I just asked a question to clarify. So sometimes, Truth is Speaking, you may need to just ask the question. Tell the person, okay, let's say Truth is Speaking, can you share with me a bit more about what you're referring to? I'm reading it as this. Did I get it correct? Did I get it incorrect? And wait for them to respond. And they may say, this is what I meant. And then you may determine that this comment was truly genuine and they were just making a comment. Or they may have said, this is what I meant. And it may be something completely different. And you think to yourself, that was sarcastic. Now, sarcastic is not necessarily a reason to report somebody to YouTube. I wouldn't do that. But if someone says something really inappropriate, then that's something I would automatically report and go through that process I mentioned earlier in the video. I know Truth is Speaking, you're new to this video, But I talked about what you can do if you're trying to live stream on YouTube to block people and basically remove the comment quickly. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely take a look at this live. But let me know if you have any questions about it, because I'd be happy to answer them for you and help you be able to navigate those situations when they come up. The key to either genuine or sarcastic comments is speed. Speed is incredibly important in live streaming. You have to be at a place where you can respond quickly, very, 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 very quickly, in terms of what's being said. Is it something I need to address, or is it something I don't need to address? So I hope that answered your question. You really, sometimes, truth is speaking, you have to just ask. You have to ask a follow-up to get an idea in terms of what is this person trying to say. Sometimes the person may not even respond at all, truth is speaking. And if they don't respond at all, that's okay. They don't respond, then you know that you can make your assumptions in terms of what the comment was specifically as it relates to that, even if they don't respond. So it really just depends on what's being said. Sometimes you may need to do a follow-up question, but just be very observant. And I know, truth is speaking, you've watched a couple of my channels, a couple of my videos before, and you've been present on live, so I appreciate you being back, friend. But being observant is something that I mentioned to you all on my channel, and the things I share with you, the strategies, these are real strategies. This is not some leadership model, some hypothesis. This is not some paragraph description of how you manage situations when they come up. I'm telling you real strategies in terms of what's worked for me as a C-suite executive and a director for over 20 years to be very, very successful as it relates to managing people and managing crisis situations and showcasing my executive presence. So observing is something I talk about a lot on my channel, because just as much as I observe people when I'm communicating with them one-on-one, I do the same type of observing in the chat. So I take a look and see exactly what's going on, and I'm observing, is this person responding multiple times? Or they were only responding once? Or they're just trying to be ridiculous? I really have to figure that out. Okay, so Truth is Speaking says, like someone keep repeating same things again and again in chat. Okay, so if someone is repeating the same things again and again in the chat, they are probably being sarcastic. That is something I'll tell you just from live streaming for, I don't even know how many live streams I've done now. I would say probably in the hundreds, I would say, if I had a good guess. But I would just say that when people do that, they're just trying to get attention. They're trying to get attention for people to see what they're doing. Those are their attention seekers. And more than likely, those are the people that are not really engaged with your channel. They're just coming to just showcase themselves and let everybody see them. And if you see that happening, that person is probably not being genuine. More than likely, they're not being genuine. And that is somebody, if it's a comment that you just simply don't like, and you're like, I don't like this, they're just repeating this over and over and over again in the chat, that's probably somebody you may want to hide from your channel. Why is that? Because when you have people that do that and they come back, you don't want that person to come back to your channel again, right? You don't want them to come back to your channel and then go back into your chat and put, repeat, whatever it is that they're trying to say. You just don't want that, especially during a live streaming. You have enough things that are on your mind, topics on your mind. You're trying to talk about a topic, right? You're trying to interact with your audience. You're trying to moderate the chat. You're trying to keep yourself focused and keep your emotions under pressure when these situations come up. You don't have time for someone that's being ridiculous in your chat, especially if it's something that you don't like. And I mentioned this at the very beginning of this video in terms of live streaming experience. What specifically what's important to you? And if it's important to you for somebody to not distract your audience like that, then that sounds like a person you want to hide from your channel. If you don't know how to hide somebody from your channel in the chat without reporting them, then just let me know. I'll walk you through it in terms of how you can do that. But truth is speaking, that's somebody you probably want to say, it may not be the right fit for your audience, depending on what they are trying to do. Now, some people I've had on my live streams send me heart emojis or just send me smiley faces and etc. That is fine. No problems if they're just doing that. But if someone says something like, I had someone actually do something similar to what you're mentioning. So they posted the same, not exactly the same things, but they actually typed, believe it or not, they typed an offensive word in the chat, but they didn't type the word itself. They just did this word, this word, this word, this word, this word. And so I just completely cut it off from there. And I hid them from the channel, and I believe I reported their comment. But that's something, yeah, you have to just really keep an eye out. People that are doing that repetitive things in the chat, they're usually maybe not the right type of people you want to have on your audience. If your channel itself is something that is definitely more elevated, which I know Truth is Speaking has a lot of great insights. So if you have your own channel, I know you would not want those type of people on your channel specifically. I hope that answers your question. But if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. So I want to know, for those of you who are joined, have you live streamed, as I mentioned earlier? Are you thinking about live streaming and maybe you're a bit nervous about it? And if so, what makes you nervous? What are you nervous about? And let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to support you any way that I can to help you think about live streaming a bit differently, because it is a great opportunity to get your message out there, to grow your business, to grow your brand, or whatever it is you're trying to do, that maybe that big impact you're trying to make, not only in your country, but you're trying to make a big impact in the world, like myself and many of the other amazing subscribers that are subscribed to my channel. But it does have its challenges, and there are times when things go wrong, friends. And I'm just being as candid with you all as I can. You're going to have people that are going to say things that will make you second guess, why are you live streaming, and why would they say something so incredibly inappropriate on a live stream? But this is why you are a leader, right? This is why you are a leader. That's why you are a woman in leadership. That is my audience I directly serve and help provide services to. And maybe you're a man in leadership that is here with the audience also. You're just trying to be a leader. And most of the times when the individuals that are members of my audience are trying to go to that next level, they're not interested in making those very disrespectful or rude or very explicit, just really inappropriate comments. They are really genuinely here trying to learn. And this doesn't happen all of the time. It just happens sometimes. For some reason, though, I will tell you, the past 2 days on my channel, every live stream I've had, someone says something really, has been saying inappropriate topics. And it happens, and we just move forward because there's amazing people like Truth is Speaking that is present, that ask questions specifically that are related to the topic. So you have to just know that there's good and then there's challenging situations, but it's all in how you navigate it, and you always have to showcase your executive presence, especially to your audience, because that's what matters. Okay, so Truth is Speaking says, yes, I agree. Some people are attention seekers and they do send many emojis. Yes, and Truth is Speaking, that is completely, sorry, I just hit my stand here. It's completely 100% correct, because they're just trying to get attention and they're trying to just put things there. Now, I will tell you, there's a pro to that, right? And this is something that I've learned on the back end as it relates to live streaming on YouTube, that it's just something to take as food for thought. When you have people doing those silly type of things, like a bunch of emojis and etc., believe it or not, when you finish your live streaming on YouTube, it comes up with a report at the end where it gives you the analytics of your live stream. So what are the things that you see on there, and why is what we're discussing is something you have to keep in mind that actually may help you as long as it's appropriate. Let me explain to you why. There's analytics that you receive at the end of your YouTube live, and I'm specifically talking about YouTube. I mentioned LinkedIn, I mentioned Instagram. Instagram has analytics. YouTube, LinkedIn analytics are, they're not that, it's really not that great, because LinkedIn does not have its own internal live streaming platform. You have to use a third party like StreamYard, which is what I use, but that's another topic for another day. But I will say that on YouTube, your analytics will say the number of views that you've received. It will show your average view duration, how long people stayed online, your peak concurrence, which I just learned recently is a really big deal. And I'll talk to you more about my channel specifically in terms of what that looks like and some things to keep in mind for yourself. And then it also talks about your number of subscribers, if you had anybody subscribe, and your chats. So when people are making those heart emojis on your channel or on your comments, believe it or not, it's actually helping you with your chats. Because when YouTube looks at your live streaming and etc., they're looking at those analytics. So it almost appears as if people are engaging with your chat, even though it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back emojis. It looks on the YouTube side, YouTube is just seeing someone's chatting with Truth is Speaking's chat. Like they see, oh, they're interacting with her live. And so that's something that can actually help you out quite a bit as you are going through this process. It can be a bit just attention seeking, but it can actually benefit you some because that's what actually YouTube sees on their end. Now, I'll tell you about peak concurrence. Peak concurrence is actually a very big metric, a bit bigger of a metric than I personally thought that it was. I learned this, and I actually listened to this from Roberto Blake. He has a YouTube channel, book, and all that, and he does a lot with YouTube also, and has some insight on this as well. And one of the things that he mentioned in it was last weekend when he was talking about, he does channel reviews and he has some really great information. So definitely, if you're growing your YouTube channel, definitely check him out. He's got some really good information. But what I'm sharing with you is just me live streaming from the ground up and being a part of YouTube's live streaming research panel. But what I found that he mentioned that was helpful to keep in mind for peak concurrence, and this is a good one to keep a metric of. He said in his video, 90% of the people that are live streaming on YouTube are not able to get 10 peak concurrence. So if you are at a point on your live streaming journey with YouTube where you're getting 10 or more peak concurrence, you're doing better than 90% of the people that are live streaming on YouTube. So peak concurrence is a very, very important metric that you want to keep an eye on if you are live streaming on YouTube. It can tell you a lot about how peak concurrence means how many people are watching your live at the same time. And that means that this topic is interesting. So for my channel specifically, I will share with you for the past several months, my peak concurrence are always over 10. They're always over 10. They're usually between 10 to 22 is what I usually have for peak concurrence. So these are really important metrics if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, especially with live streaming, that you just want to keep in mind. Analytics is very important as a leader. It's very important on your YouTube channel if you're trying to grow it. If you're just doing it just to do videos here and there, then your analytics may not mean anything to you. But if you're like myself, I'm growing my business, this is why I have my YouTube channel, then analytics are really important. And the main thing you need is just data. You need to know what's going on, what's working, what's not working, so you can adjust accordingly. So Truth is Speaking, it says, one thing is I don't have privacy in my house and also noisy neighbors. So that can be definitely challenging. And Truth is Speaking, I don't know if you have your own, I'm assuming you have your own, do you have your own YouTube channel? Let me know. But so if you're struggling with the privacy in your house and noisy neighbors, it can be very challenging, especially when you're in those type of settings. What you may want to do is to think about what times are going to work best for you in your home that you're in, where it's not as noisy and maybe things are quiet. I've had to do this myself, Truth is Speaking, and I've had to figure out what times can I do pre-recorded videos. Like for instance, for me right now, I would not do a pre-recorded video because my kids are up, they're watching TV, and at any moment in time, somebody may knock on the door and bang on the door, and that's not what I would want to do for pre-recorded. For a live, I can get by with that, but pre-recorded, I would not. So I would encourage you, Truth is Speaking, to really think about your timing of things. And I've had to do this myself. And think about when you're at home, what times are quiet in your house. There has to be at some point in time when it's quiet. And it might be early in the morning, or it might be late in the evening. It may be in the middle of the day. It just depends on your schedule. So that's one thing to figure out exactly what it is specifically, and what it is specifically that you can do to find that quiet time. Privacy is something else. So privacy is going to come to, where is there a space, is there an area where you can get a lot of privacy or be quiet. Believe it or not, you'll see this a lot on your different YouTube channels, and I've actually, believe it or not, done it on my channel many years ago, a couple of years ago, I believe. You may have to record in a closet. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but believe it or not, closets are actually very good places to record videos. One, because they are typically set off from the main room, and you have a door where you can close it, and actually shields off a lot of your noise or external noise you may have. And so if you're struggling with privacy, you just have to find and be creative. Like, where can you record a video? And if you find a closet, closets are great places, then just figure out, well, what do I need? Do I need a chair? Do I need to stand? What can I do? How can I make this work to where I'm still in a place that is very, very much in an enclosed type of space? Now, for noisy neighbors, as I mentioned, you just have to know when's the quiet time. And it may be that you have to record your videos, if you're doing pre-recorded, at an off time. Or if you're doing live streaming and you're trying to do those, you may just live stream at an off time. But if you're going to live stream at an off time, what may help you in that case is if you schedule your live stream. So you can schedule your live stream to let your audience know that, okay, audience, I'm going to be live streaming at X time in the morning, or X time in the evening, or X time in the afternoon, so that they know that this is when you're live streaming. And then the other part of it is, the beauty of it when you're live streaming at various times, it goes to the replay. It goes out to the replay. But the key with live streaming is you have to make sure at the end of your live stream, when it's done specifically on YouTube, that you set it. For some reason, they need to fix this on YouTube. You may put it as public, but it automatically has your live stream as private. So you have to go back into your live stream when you're done with it, click edit, go to visibility, and put it as public. So your audience is still going to watch it. So there's ways to work around it. I understand about everything that you mentioned. I've interacted with those challenges and had those too. But there's ways to go around it. For me, there's always a way. We're always going to figure out a way to make it work. And if you're trying to grow, which I know that you are, there's ways to get around it. Just let me know if you need some more support with that. So Truth is Speaking says, attention seekers are my biggest supporters? ? They may be, or they may not be. It truly just depends on what's going on. If it is someone that is constantly interacting with your channel, then they probably are a top fan. Just like it has your top fans icon here. So for instance, on the chat, for those of you who are watching the live video or watching the replay, Truth Speaking has a top fan on there. And there's other people, if I look at my chats today, they'll have top fans. Now, I need to personally go into YouTube a bit more about top fans, but they may be your biggest supporters. They may be the people that really, really, really appreciate you and really want to learn more about you specifically. They may be just someone that's just coming into your YouTube live streaming event just so they can be visible and just to have something to do. It just depends. But they may be your biggest supporters. So that's a very good insight. I appreciate you bringing that up. What are some other questions that you all have as it relates to it? So if you're watching the replay, feel free to put your questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you're watching live, let me know what questions you have. And if you don't have any additional questions, before I wrap things up for the live, there's a couple videos that I want you to definitely take a look at as it relates specifically with this topic. Check out my live streams from the past 2 days. The past 2 days live streams, there have been some inappropriate things said. And you will not see them on the chat because you're watching the replay, but you will see how I handle them in real time. So the live stream from yesterday, today is October the 3rd, 2025. This is the live stream from yesterday morning. I believe the topic was thinking on your feet under pressure. It was something like that. I have to look at it and see. But that live stream from yesterday morning is when I had an issue with, I had to address a inappropriate comment. The live stream yesterday afternoon, I had a very inappropriate comment that was anti-Semitic, not nice. So I had to monitor that. This morning, I had a very inappropriate comment that I had to manage also. And then this afternoon, had another inappropriate comment that I managed also. So just take a look at my live streams. That's where most of my action is on my channel right now. But if you really truly are at that point where you really want to learn, and this is only for really the serious individuals that are at that point where they know they want to do better as leaders, then check out my live streams. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about managing very challenging situations or difficult comments in real time in a way that will actually help you be able to navigate these situations when they come up. And of course, if you are looking for some additional support and you're in my target audience of women in leadership that I provide executive coaching to and consulting services to on a one-on-one basis, then check out the link in the description below for a strategy session. This is an opportunity for the two of us to have a brief call to talk about where you are, where you want to be, and what are some challenges you might be facing as a woman in leadership, and how we can partner together to help you really go to that next level so you're feeling a lot more confident and more in charge of your life and your roles professionally that you're dealing with, especially as it relates to communication. I say on my channel this all the time: people become great by how they communicate. And so my role here, my mission on this earth, is to help unlock the greatness within you. And that is what I do to my clients in a one-on-one setting. If you happen to be a man in leadership watching this video, then you're likely, hopefully, a subscriber. And I know you're trying to go to that next level in your leadership journey. And I want to help you on your journey as well. Even if you're not in my direct audience I provide services with, my content here on YouTube really can help you also. The information I'm sharing with you about communicating under pressure, handling your emotions under pressure, having difficult conversations, executive presence, salary negotiations, interview skills, resume skills, communicating at a higher level than your peers, transcends gender. So regardless of if you're a woman or a man, you will gain some insight here on these lives to help you go to that next level, and on my pre-recorded videos as well. So I appreciate you all being present. I appreciate you being here with me today. Truth is Speaking, thank you so much for engaging and asking some really fantastic questions and bringing some really great insights into the live streaming experience. And if this is something that you want to learn more about, or you want me to do more videos in terms of my live streaming experience and how I've been able to live stream, and I've done so many that YouTube has invited me to be a member of their live streamer research panel for the next year, then let me know. I will do a specific video, even though it's not directly in my audience in terms of what I speak about as it relates to communication and leadership, but it's something that you might want to learn more about, then let me know in the comments below. Maybe you're like I am. You were a C-suite executive, a director, a manager, and you're at the point where you're just doing your own type of business, and maybe you're trying to grow your YouTube channel and you're just trying to figure out, well, how do I do it? Then let me know. I'll do a video just for you as it relates to live streaming. So I hope you all have a absolutely amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next videos. Remember, I go live Tuesday through Friday, and providing you with value as much as I can to help you. And this is free information. Most of my clients in a one-on-one setting are paying for information. And so I'm giving as much as I can, but typically when you're ready to invest in yourself, that means you need that customized support to help you really go to that next level. So Truth is Speaking says, thank you so much. You are a gem. Well, thank you, Truth is Speaking. You are a gem also for providing some really great insights and really great questions during the live today. Because remember, people watch the replays. Believe it or not, people really do watch replays of lives because a lot of times they may be busy. It's a Friday evening. People may be out and about. And the questions that you come up with, Truth is Speaking, and the insights you mentioned, people are going to watch this not only for the replays, but they're watching this years to come. So I appreciate you so much, because many people don't understand and underestimate the value of live stream, because it's not just a matter of me having a conversation with myself. I'm talking to people in my audience, and they're sharing insights also that can help people 20 years from now. You just never know what things will happen and who will watch your video and what you're engaging with. So I appreciate you so much, Truth is Speaking. I appreciate everybody else. Diamond Golden also had a lot of contributions to the channel today earlier. So I appreciate you all being present, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. And let me know what topics you want to learn more about on this channel. I'm here to support you on your journey. So let me know what you want to learn more about. Give me the things that are difficult for you. Give me what's hard, what's challenging, what are you struggling with, because that is what my expertise is in handling really complicated situations, especially as it relates to leadership and communication. So I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Bye for now.